Hej, dlatego witamy na scenie Kevina Foxa. Kevin, the voice of
Great, thanks. So sorry to do this in English, but I don't speak Polish, so I'm gonna.
When you're ready, just tell us.
Yeah. All right.
You ready?
Okay.
Yeah.
You knew it could be a good idea to walk the country along the ridgeline of the old Appalachian Mountains to find yourself inside summer as it morphed into autumn, step by step, leaf by leaf, and then winter. You knew it could be a good idea to walk for a few months to air yourself out. You carried a backpack, and in it a tent, a sleeping bag, a pot, a stove, socks, shirts, pants, a spoon, a fork, a knife. You carried a book to read and a book to write. You carried it all through the mosquito swarms of fecund Maine, up and down mountains, up and down, up and down. You lost weight. You couldn't carry enough calories. One time you both stared at each other to see who would get the last peanut butter and honey sandwich. Like in the cartoons when the hunger makes them hallucinate each other, except one is a pork chop and the other a Thanksgiving turkey. You often slept in a tent. Owls and crickets orchestrated your early bedtime. Squirrels with dinosaur-sized feet stomped around your camp, taking you back in time. The morning birds woke you up to sun, sometimes rain, sometimes from dreams where your body felt no pain. You had already walked 637 kilometers. You weren't sure anymore if it was all such a good idea, this walk. To where? You still had 2,863 kilometers to go. But to where? Your friends and enemies were the routine, the terrain, the sun, moon, failure, success, beginning and end. You once read that the Cherokee from North Carolina massaged their feet as part of a sacred ceremony. They believe that because our feet provide us with our main contact with the earth, that they too, the feet, conduct the energies flowing through this world and the others. You wanted to imagine your land, your river, your region, your country, your world, your reality as part of that complex multiplicity. You wanted her to share what she saw through her eyes behind that camera. You wanted to share what you felt through your feet. Munson, Caratum, Stratton, Andover, Gorham, Glencliff, Hanover, Norwich, White River Junction, Wallingford, Manchester, Bennington, Dalton, Great Barrington, Salisbury, Falls Village, Kent, Greenwood Lake, Delaware Water Gap, Port Clinton, Duncannon, Boiling Springs, Blue Ridge Summit, Harper's Ferry, Front Royal, Waynesboro, Glasgow, Catawba, Harrisburg, Atkins, Damascus, Elk Park, Hot Springs, Irwin, Gatlinburg, Hiawassee. You were tired. You pushed your feet to walk 38 kilometers so that you could sleep indoors in a shelter. You trained them and they responded. Your feet walked on their own, carrying you in your backpack, in your pot, your stove, socks, shirts, pants, spoon, fork, and knife. You had weeks without rain, and the dirt from the bone-dry path was like chalk on your feet, powdering your shoes. The earth tattooing the soles of your feet. You wondered if the Cherokee were referring to another soul, another connection between the feet and the earth. Your feet grew. You wore a size 46, but now a 47. With each step, you grabbed the earth and pushed it back behind you. You wondered if you could recruit 1 million people to spread out north to south across the country and walk in the same direction in chorus. Would the earth spin faster? Your feet produced geography. They wrote on the earth. Millions of other feet before yours drew this line from Maine to Georgia, mapping in full life scale the walk you took. You thought every day how writing, mapping, and walking could be the same thing between granola bar snacks and drinking water from the streams. You walked to think about walking. You thought to occupy your own thoughts. You had a map to read, but you had to write your own with all those possible trajectories, up and over and down again, up and over and down again, up and over and down again. You ask yourself if your feet could archive the walk and store up all of that memory, up and down, step by step, leaf by leaf. Was the memory of place tattooed there? Was it the memory of you inscribed? Or was it the contact point between this you and that place? You modeled for her portraits of your feet in repose during 153 days to document the point of contact between you and the earth, between you and the walk, between this and that and these and those, between the past and the future. Your feet bruised from the pounding and stepping over the rocks and roots. But they're happy feet. Feet are emotional and can be happy, sad, tired, and angry. Feet can take attitude and stop like a dog who refuses to carry on. You learned how to walk by walking. You learned how to map by mapping. You learned how to write yourself into the terrain with your feet and not your pen. Your feet, those often forgotten appendages, draw and sing and dance and smell like roses. Your feet always had their own gestures, own systems of thought and of communication, their own ways of knowing. Each day you learned their grammar and syntax and recovered your feet from the shadows, not like muscles you haven't used before, but like a language you're learning to speak. You add this to your Lebenslauf, the list of walks you have taken, the list of walks your feet have made. A life in walks, a walking life of writing yourself into being, of walking yourself into being, leaving your trace on the landscape, and the landscape drawing itself all over you.